Hello everyone. Today we are taking a deep dive into this Reuters story exclusive US clears H200 chip sales to 10 China firms as Nvidia CEO looks for breakthrough. We are going to break down exactly what happened here and what the real risks are that every investor should know about. But before that, you are watching Decode Daily News, where we take the biggest business and finance stories and decode them so anyone can understand. If you are not subscribed yet, hit that button right now. So let us get into it. The US has cleared around 10 Chinese firms to buy Nvidia's second most powerful AI chip, the H200. Here is what that really tells you. Approval on paper and approval in reality are two completely different things. The licenses exist, the buyers exist, and still, nothing is moving. Look ahead in this same line. But not a single delivery has been made so far. Now sit with that for a second. That gap between permitted and actually happening, that is where the real story lives. For anyone watching Nvidia's stock, this matters enormously. Approved does not mean done. This is where it gets interesting. Huang, who was not initially listed in a White House delegation to Beijing, joined the trip after an invitation from President Donald Trump. That is not a small thing. The most powerful chip maker on the planet is riding along on a diplomatic mission because normal business channels have completely broken down. That is not routine. That is a signal something is deeply stuck. Here is the detail that reframes everything. Trump picked him up in Alaska en route to a summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Think about what that actually means. When a CEO needs a sitting president to literally escort him into a market, that tells you everything about how frozen this situation really is. This is not a trade deal. This is a rescue mission. Now this is the part I could not move past. Before US export curbs tightened, Nvidia commanded about 95% of China's advanced chip market. Pause right there. 95%. That is near total dominance. Now they cannot move a single unit without government approval on both sides of the ocean. But it goes even deeper. China once accounted for 13% of its revenue. That one hits different. 13% from one country, now essentially locked out. Huang estimated China's AI market alone would be worth $50 billion this year. That is not a small number sitting on the sideline. That is a massive gap in Nvidia's growth story. Now here is where things get more specific. Each approved customer can purchase up to 75,000 chips under the US licensing terms. Worth sitting with that for a moment. 75,000 chips per buyer sounds generous. But a hard cap is a hard cap. This is not open commerce. It is rationed, politically managed trade. Every chip is being counted. Then came the response that says it all. Despite US approval, deals have stalled as Chinese firms pulled back after guidance from Beijing. That line tells you everything. Beijing is telling its own tech giants, Alibaba, Tencent, ByteDance, do not buy. Use domestic alternatives instead. Two governments pulling in opposite directions, with Nvidia caught exactly in the middle. So, that is exactly where my take comes in. But real quick before I give you my take, this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. So, what we are watching is not just a trade story. It is a stress test of how much geopolitics can distort even an approved, licensed, ready-to-go commercial transaction. The answer so far? Completely. The $50 billion opportunity Huang described is real in theory. But theory and execution are living in very different worlds right now. Every quarter China stays closed is a quarter where Nvidia's ceiling is lower than the market expects. There is also a longer concern here. Every month Chinese companies do not buy Nvidia chips is a month they are investing in domestic alternatives instead. That gap closes slowly, but it does close. The real risk for investors is not this single deal falling through. It is that the market is still pricing in a China recovery that may be structurally years away, if it comes at all. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like and subscribe so you never miss an episode of Decode Daily News. And I want to hear from you. Do you think Jensen Huang's trip to Beijing will actually unlock these chip sales? Or is this just political theater? Drop your take in the comments below.